And welcome back to another episode of Orwell's Interceptors, my little informal series about the 1984 Honda VF500F Interceptor. In this episode, I'm going to be taking a look at removing the rear shock, the blown rear shock on this thing, which wasn't good from the factory, and putting in a YSS emulsion replacement shock into this thing. This is the one I needed here, MZ456 340 TRL 1985, and this one actually says for VF500F. I'm going to pull the whole exhaust off again. Seat's going to come off, fairing's going to come off, and I don't think I have to remove the controls and all of that. All the electrical that's hiding behind here is going to get unplugged. That's going to get pulled out. The reservoir tank for the coolant is going to come out, and then we're going to end up getting some access to that rear shock, clean up the linkage and everything, and hopefully I have the right one. You can get a Hagen shock, you can get a Jamie Doherty shock, or you can get one of these YSSs. Those are the three options. Nice. The three options that I really found that were going to actually be recommended and work with this bike. So I'm not going to bore you with the taking the exhaust off. Just really confused myself. I was trying to get these hose clamps, or not hose clamps, muffler clamps off from the other side. The way I got it angled, I can just put some socket extensions with a 10mm here. It's going to be easier to get them off and get them back on, but yeah, that just had me confused for about 10 minutes. All right, let's get the seat off of here. Why is everything's fighting today? All right, seat off of here. Then we'll pop the fairings off, these side ones. This one should be fairly simple. It's the other one I gotta worry about. We'll put that there. And you'll see this bike has this nice little screw. This is bespoke to this bike. It's because I think when I was like 19 or 20, I broke the little tab off that pushes it in there. And my grandpa put that thing through it. And you know what? I've always remembered that. And that's why I'll never replace that. Function over form is more important. I like things to look good, but you know what? I didn't have a better idea on how to do it, especially when I was 19. And I don't think I'll have a better idea on how to do it when I'm like 75, when he decided that that was the right idea. So I like seeing that there. That's why I have a fucking screw. Oh, it's wood. That's right. We fucking did it with wood. Yeah. I love it. I love it. That's the man right there. And then I don't think the instructions actually say to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the battery and then the battery box out, because it gives me a whole lot more room to see inside of it and actually just finagle and work this thing out, and then get into the upper mounting bolt on top. So now we're at a point where starting to, well, we can see the shock. This is about as much as I'm going to be taking off the right side. Now the left side, actually the trickier side, I'm going to be removing the coolant reservoir tank. Actually, it's a really good reminder that I forgot to put more in it. That's because I wasn't actually planning on riding it again until I got that shock into it. I just didn't think it'd take this long. And then the bigger issue is that I've got to get this electrical panel off, and I have to disconnect all of these, and then I'm going to basically pull this whole box off because it just gives me a ton more room. So something I do with these old electrical connections is why it's going to actually be a little bit easier for me to get these off this time, is because the last time I was in here, I usually come and put a little bit of grease, just the lightest coat, even just like WD-40 on these sliding edges, because the first time you go at these is just a fucking bear. I know that I fought these way harder last time, and I'm not done yet, but they were taking me, yeah. So I don't know if you're supposed to do that. I don't know if you can cause issues with that, but I would say if you can grease those sides, I would recommend it, because I wasn't getting these off so easy last time. And I've ridden this bike. No, I haven't ridden this bike since, it may be a dead bike because I put grease on the sides. But if it rides again, I would grease the sides. So now I'm at the point where I've got the electrical out, the coolant reservoir out, and getting to the point where I can start to try to remove the shock. And I think the last time I did this, the instructions don't say to do it, but I think I may have removed the igniter boxes out of there too to give me more space. It may not be necessary, but I might end up doing it again. As you can see, I got the rear wheel. I just stack different wood sizes just to make sure that the rear wheel's not going to move. And I need to get the rear linkage piece. This is where the shock is connected. It's 14s on each side. And so the chain's kind of in the way a little bit, and this is why you could, the instructions don't actually say to remove the rear left controls, but I can see an argument to doing it. I know that I'm not supposed to be using a non-impact on here, but I'm going to use an impact on here. I want that, yeah, right there. Yeah, okay, so that worked. Ooh, that feels tight. I gotta figure out why that's so tight, but the rear should be loose now. And then if I want to take the rear linkage out, I would take that out, and then I could, if I want the dog bones to come out, which are apparently like through the fucking center stand. No, center stand's down there. I could take the dog bones out. Wow, that's gross. I might want to do that anyway. Get the old ultrasonic going, get that off, and then I gotta get the top one out. And I'm gonna do a double check to make sure there's no reason why that thing's so tight, but I think I just gotta punch it out this way and then I'll have it. Alright, now let's get that top bolt off on the shock. Pair of 14s. I already loosened it a little bit, just making sure. Where'd my nut go? Oh, it's on the ground. Okay, so if that one's loose, okay, that seems real loose. Alright, that's mighty loose. I'm gonna go grab this so I don't fucking lose it, because I might do that. I am kind of curious though why that bottom one, well, I'm not that curious. I feel like I kind of know why it is pinched a bit. So that one that I was struggling with earlier is there. I knocked it in with this garage door spring loader a little bit, but I figured if I have it loose like this, I might be able to come over and pull that bolt out. Yeah, okay, so now it's loose. So I might just have a millimeter too high or too short of a block of wood, but now I've got that. Now I've got a loose shock in here. Now this threw me through a loop last time because I couldn't figure out how to get it out of this bike. And I'm still not certain how I got it out of this bike. It says pull it out the left. That ain't happening. It's just not. Which is why I think I took the igniter boxes out. Because I think it's going to come out the top again. Alright, let's, oh. That ain't gonna work. So I went through the side. Like so, and then that thing would come up through. Okay, good, I don't have to hammer it through. Where did I put, oh, there it is. That's gonna fly all over the place. So, I'll grab my pin here, which I've already greased. Do that. And I just want to get it hanging. Can I get it hanging? We can hang. Now I gotta get the fucking dog bone through, and there's this sliding piece. Oh, come on, I thought I had it earlier. Yes, okay. Now can I get the final pin through there? Yes, I can. This garage door fucking spring loader has been a hero the whole time. Alright, I gotta get the nuts on there. I gotta figure out what the torque values are, but I gotta get those nuts on there. And I have not done anything to clean this up. I'm doing a disgrace to myself, but I want to just get this shock installed. So I've got 3 bolts that I need to tighten, and I believe what I have is, well, the single shock, the ProLink model, and I need to, on the upper and lower, bring it to between 29 and 36 foot-pounds, And then it's either one of these two, the shock link to the shock arm or the shock link to the shock absorber, either 29 to 36 or 20 to 36. Either one is going to put me at 35 in range, and 35 is going to be in range on the upper and lower. So that one just hit 30 foot-pounds. And then I'd come up here, and I'm not showing the other one because that one's kind of a real pain in the nuts, and there's no way I'm actually going to be able to film it correctly. But if I put this on here, and I put that there. So I got 30 on those two, and then I'm going to bring it up another 5 after that. But I do want to torque all these things right, and I like torquing things correctly because I see what happens when people don't torque things correctly, and shit sucks. It's horrible. That's when the drills come out.
I guess what can I say? Initial impressions, 37.5 miles worth, is that this YSS shock, the one that fits a VF500F instead of a Sportster, has been a pretty good purchase. I didn't realize how big of a difference it would make. So I mean, some people would say, on like the SV650 is known to have a really bad rear shock from stock, and I threw it on when my Penske was getting rebuilt, and I did a track day on it, and yeah, it wasn't as good. And you could feel it, but it wasn't a horror show. It really wasn't. I think people just complain to complain. This one though, on here, these are truly bad. And I didn't know enough about rear suspension shocks. Well, I don't know enough about suspension, period. I didn't know enough though to compare it to anything else, just how bad it was. So this has been a good purchase. This thing was like $450, I think, to get it shipped over here. So you might be able to find cheaper. I think this is the cheapest of the Hagen YSS and Jamie Doherty. Jamie Doherty used to service Honda, what was it, the F4, or no, sorry, the F2. I think he'd take a CBR F2 and service them. So you used to be able to do that for like 40 bucks, but he doesn't do that anymore. So honestly, I think this might be your cheapest option. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy about it. I want to do something about the front end, and then we're gonna have a killer little setup here, and that'll be good. So that's the video. If you've watched this far on my little informal series, I'm gonna keep shooting them until somebody else starts shooting some goddamn Honda Interceptor videos. I know there's people that know tons about these bikes, but there's like no videos online. Get them up there. Let's see them. Anyway, if you watch this far, thanks for watching.